What is going on, YouTube family? It's Andrea here at VW Family Farm, and the kids and I have some work to do. We have some cows to move around. I want to show you our pastures and the benefits of rotational grazing, but first we got a few things to do here in the yard, feeding animals and things, and then we're going to head back there. Ben is actually home today. He is using vacation days to cut hay, so isn't that what everyone wants to do on their vacation? But he is hard at work on the tractor, so the kids and I are going to tackle this by ourselves, and we're going to take you guys along. So we've actually got this brooder box in the garage cleaned out. Need to put some fresh shavings in there, and then it is waiting on some new arrivals. We're getting some turkeys really soon. So Katie's been going on a moonlight stroll almost every night, and we think maybe we found the hole. That's the pen. That's the sheep pen where Emily's at, and then the pig pen Lane is in. She was just slipping out, slipping back in.
And having her a good old time.
He's huge. Yeah, these things have gotten very enormous. Our first order of cattle business that we have to do is these guys. This is our bachelor pad, we've called it. And I showed you a few weeks ago, if you watch our videos regularly, that bale of hay we put out. Well, they've now eaten it and they're out of grass out there. So this was never meant to be a permanent pen. We like rotational grazing, and we knew that this was way too many. 6 of these, the smaller ones you can see, like those over there, and several of those back under that tree, are actually beef for next year. They're the beginning of, we're gonna start trying to raise meat for the public, and this guy over here too. And then 3 of them, this guy right here, and then the red one and the tan Jersey right there. Those are actually for this fall. Those are, we've for several years been raising for just a few people here locally to us. We're expanding in this next year, but that's what all these are, and they need more grass. So down this way past the barn, there is a gate that leads out into our rotational grazing pastures for our beef cows. So we're gonna head around there. That's where the cluck wagon's at also. We're gonna feed around there, and we're gonna show you what we're gonna do. So we're getting ready to move steers in, and we've had a problem with the water, of course. Lane is working on it, getting them set up with a float valve on their tank so that it will be continuously full of water. Well, we got water. We got air in our system now because we had to turn it all off. We water our cows through a well and a mile of water line that we buried about a year ago. But anytime you have to turn it off and lose all the pressure, you got to go through it. It's going to blow air for a while. So here is the pasture where the bachelors have been, and we're actually going to run them out this green gate. And then this is one of our paddocks for our beef cows, and they actually just moved out of this. We had a herd in here, but you can see out through there, it's still green. There's still lots of pasture left for them to graze. This rotational grazing has just benefited our farm so very much. This is only our 2nd year to do it, and our grasses are just crazy amazing compared to last year. You can see all this grass, and in years past we'd have green, but it might just be all weeds and things the animals wouldn't eat. But this year you can see there's tons of grass out here. There's still some weeds, we still have a ways to go, but the cows moving throughout these paddocks and eating and then pooping and fertilizing, it's an amazing cycle that we've been able to eliminate a lot of expenses like commercial fertilizers for these pastures and stuff. This is just all natural, and it's been pretty amazing to watch. So the kids and I are going to attempt to get all these steers out except for 2. We're going to leave 2 in there to keep that eat down and move the other 7 out here. And our cows have so much grass this year. It's such a wonderful thing. Our land has improved so much in just 1 year that we actually have more grass than we have cows right now. But we're working hard to get out of debt, so we don't want to buy more cows at this moment. So we're just trying to move them around. Animals that need grass, we're moving them to where the grass is. We will work on getting more cows when we get out of debt and we actually start being able to sell some cows and make a little money off of them. But one thing we're trying to keep in mind is if we are gonna raise meat for ourselves and for other people, we are gonna start keeping our calves, and then those will need a place to rotate as well. So in the past, we've just weaned our calves off and they go to the sale, and then someone else raises them out. But if we're gonna do that ourselves, right now we're gonna have a little more grass than animals, but in the future, we will have enough land to raise out our own calves. All right, so we're gonna attempt to work 7 of them out and keep 2 of them. And actually those 2 on the right side under that tree, those 2 are the ones we want to stay, and everyone else is coming out. So we're gonna try this. They come to a bucket pretty good, so we'll see. Emily's got a bucket. We got them, didn't we?
Finally.
We wound up using our little Gallagher reel, and Lane went out there and got in between the 2 that were staying and the one we wanted out, and we just were able to push him right out. So we're heading back to the big group of cows. We're gonna rotate them, and I can't wait to show you all this grass back here. This, I just cannot say enough, is the benefits of rotational grazing. This is where they are now. And they've been in there for a bit. They've eaten it down really well. We don't want them to eat it down to dirt. That's a little actually low compared to what we want. But we've done some sacrifice pastures, which means they can come back up this way, back to where we're standing right now, to get to a water trough. We don't have a whole lot of shade when it gets late summer. That's where we're struggling, is with shade. So we've let them come back up into previous pastures, because you see that wood line over there, that provides them a lot of shade. So we've given them some sacrifice pastures. That's why this is low, because they've been in here a lot longer than what we wanted them to, while we're advancing them forward down that side. So if that makes sense, they've got about 1/4 of our whole rotating paddocks right now. They've got access to that to provide them shade, and we got the water trough up here. But you can see just across the fence, oh man, and it gets even taller. It is just, there's so much grazing. There's Johnson grass you can see, which it has its drawbacks. I know in certain situations Johnson grass can be toxic, but it's also really good for grazing and hay, and there is so much clover down in there. Again, you have to be careful with all kinds of grasses with cattle. You just have to know what you're doing. But you can just see the dramatic difference. So the cows are starting to catch on that we're up here. They're wanting to move. So one call from Lane, they're probably gonna head this way. They're used to his voice. And then we're gonna move them in here, and they are gonna be so happy. We try to keep them out of paddocks for about 40 days, about roughly at a time. So that's just a little over a month's growth, and I just think that's so impressive compared to last year. If you'd seen our land, we struggled to have any grass for these cows. So let's call them up here and move them.
Now watch the magic happen.
They're calling back to you, and here they come. They know Lane, and they know this mule. If you can see them, there's a little bitty patch of woods down there. They all try to pack in, and they're just pouring out of it. So one more thought about why we don't do the super major mob grazing, where we let them eat it down to just dirt and force them to eat everything out there. In our area this year, there's been a big problem with what's called Perella mint, and it's actually toxic to cattle. We actually have some on our farm now that we've been looking. We've seen it several places. There's lots of things out there that are toxic to different animals, and probably some things in your pastures, unless you've just been super diligent to kill those out of there. And you might have even had to use chemicals to do that, which I don't really want to do a whole lot of. But the thing is, if you give them fresh ground to graze, the grass can stay ahead of some of those things that they're not going to eat. And then you don't want to force them by leaving them on a pasture and making them eat it down to just dirt to eat those things that they're trying to avoid because they're toxic to them. Because they will do that. They're very smart. they will stay away from those things that are going to harm them if possible. Not all the time. I mean, there's people that lose cows all the time to eating things that are toxic, and that just happens sometimes. But for the most part, they have great instincts and great God-given abilities to determine what to eat and what not to eat. And so that's another reason we leave our pastures a little taller when we move them out. And as well as the pastures just bounce back faster. You'll see a lot better grass growth if you don't let your animals just eat it down to nothing, because it takes the ground a long time to recover from that. Woo! Woo! Maud! They're still coming way in the back. Oh yeah. Hey Josie. There's Peggy. That's what I named this one. There's Bella, and before y'all say you can see her ribs, I promise you she's so healthy and big. She is a dairy cow, and they just always have their ribs showing. You can see these beef cows. You can see the difference. Oh, we got a stampede coming in the back. Oh, there's Bruce. Bruce the bull. He don't know about this. He's never rotated before. I'm gonna get on this mule. Let's move it out of his way. They're happy as can be, and we are just so pumped and so thankful for how this has benefited our land, how much grass we have this year. Too much grass is so much better than not enough. We can do stuff with that. We can cut more hay, we can get more cows, something, but when you don't have enough, that's when you're hurting. So I just wanted to show y'all how much our land has improved, and just tell you that if you've been thinking about rotational grazing and you think it's kind of crazy or you don't want to do it, it's so very worth it. Even if all you have is an acre, if you can make little pens and rotate your animals around and let those other pens bounce back up, even if your pens are tiny, it doesn't matter. I am sold on it, and I hope that y'all can see how much it's done for us. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching. God bless.